Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, number 156. You saw my eyes, I looked down. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
Going on, Ann? How are yous?
Doing all right. Of course you didn't know what episode number this was because you weren't here last week. So
I was busy, yes.
Yes, you were busy. But everything's going well here. Just enjoying my time in sunny California and still convalescing a little bit. But all is well. All is as well as can be.
Good. That's what we ask of you. And Anthony Chu, who I guess is now the Joan Rivers of the Retro Gamers Podcast, the automatic substitute when we're out. Mm-hmm. So thank you, Anthony, for again filling in. Wonderful topic. Anthony Rippo's top 10 NES games. Anthony Chu's top 9 plus 1 Super Nintendo game.
I did enjoy when he called it out. He's like, I'm like, yeah. Well. In all fairness, he did list 2 honorable mentions, so he had a top 12. So take away Lethal Enforcers, and there actually were 11. So,
and shame on both of you for having Contra so low on your lists.
I thought he had it at like 3.
No, I think he had his higher. Yours was an honorable mention.
Mine was an honorable mention. Yeah, so I loved Contra, but it wasn't one of my top go-to games. If I had to pick 10, it was 11. That's all.
Fair enough. Whatever.
Metroid didn't make my list either.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
it's a very hard decision.
I know. I was trying to think of like my list, and for personal games. One ad I thought would have been on your list. You didn't mention Solomon's Key.
That was when I came out with when I put my list out, and I was like, I literally went through every Nintendo game ever made. I came out with 20, and Solomon's Key was on the list. It just it kind of fell off because I had to go back to which games do I remember playing over and over and over again and just enjoying it no matter how far I got in them or if I beat it 1,000 times. And those were the ones that stuck out to me the most.
Gotcha. No problem.
I could have swapped Solomon's Key for Gauntlet, though. That would have been interchangeable for me.
I can see that. But you both had great lists. I like you called out Chewy, like, what, no Kung Fu? He's like, oh well.
Well, no, because I remember him loving that game. I really do. And I did not call him out on purpose when he called
No.
I did not call him out on purpose when he called Super Mario a painter.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that. Yes. I can see it, but still.
I was too distracted with him about the whole Samus was a woman thing.
Yeah, he that's what I love about him, his innocence still to this day.
Yeah.
And you should listen to the yin and the yang, because then it just blows your mind. Mm-hmm. But which is every Friday. So there you go, Chew, there's your plug. Great stuff. Great top 10. Yep. And we're actually gonna have another top 10 next week, so stay tuned for that. But this week we got some news. This episode's going to be more on the newer end as far as technology, but having to do with old stuff. So the retro gamers for now, we're getting in our DeLorean and we're heading to the present, and we're just going to talk about stuff. So
when is the present?
When is now? Then is now. When? Soon. What? I'm screwing that whole thing up.
When will then be now?
Ooh. Freaking love that movie. I'm watching that tonight. Okay, so let's talk about
I'm gonna do that as well with my new soundbar.
Ooh, yeah. What kind of sound? What brand?
It's a Vizio. I got a Vizio soundbar. It's I don't remember the name of it exactly, but the bottom line is, like, I just bought a new 65-inch 4K TV a couple months ago.
Wait a minute. Did you really? I don't remember hearing about it. You never told me this.
I never told you. It was 2 months ago. It literally arrived the day before I went to China in August.
Okay.
So I got it the day before I went to China. I hooked it up, left for China, and then when I came back, got to enjoy it. But I upgraded to 65-inch 4K TV, which was great. Yeah, it was really cool. Also a Vizio, and when I bought it, it came with a $200 gift card. So I was like,
what?
Right. I was like, so I mean, I was like, what am I going to do with this $200 gift card? And I bought it from a specific website. So, and they only had like limited product that I can buy. And I'm like, okay. I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy a soundbar because they're supposedly awesome. Just hooked it up now. Tested it on my PS4, which, by the way, as soon as I turned the PS4 on, automatically recognized it. Had to do nothing. Literally, nice. I turned it on and it just hit it. And I was like,
"Oh, Vizio, Sony, yeah, that makes sense."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, great!" I was like, my TV caught like hooked up to it right away. Everything was like no problem. Played one round of Mortal Kombat. Wow.
Holy really hits you?
Like I don't even have it turned up all the way. I go, my room is shaking, and I'm so happy. I'm like, ooh. I was like, I gotta watch like Avengers Endgame or something. Like I was like, I gotta watch something really bombastic to test.
It's like the old. Remember the old Maxwell cassette commercials? You know, with the guy. You know,
where you get blown out of the thing. Yep. Yes. That's gonna be me tonight. I mean, I'm just gonna be like part of the back wall.
That's awesome.
But yeah, really cool.
My dad just got a sound bar, a wireless sound bar and everything like that, and I helped him set it up. And he discovered YouTube recently. So my poor mother, all she's been hearing is first of all like the bleep 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 when you go through videos, and then he's just been listening to music. He loves listening to music, but now he found the music videos and just the house. You pull up down the block and you just see the one house. It's kind of just shaking there from the sound bar.
Nice.
So I think my mother's deaf now, but that's cool. Hopefully I'll get a sound bar one day. I'm kind of hoping. We'll see. I mean, my apartment's small enough, but we'll see. But 65-inch television in your apartment, I'm just trying to think. That's a big one. I mean, I got a 55-inch, and I thought that was when I went shopping for one. I was looking for a 50-inch.
Yep.
So when I got a 55, I'm like, ooh, I think that's a little too big, but it's just right. But a 65-inch, I'm sure that.
Yeah, the 55 that I had is now in my bedroom, which is
wow. All right, now we're talking.
Yeah, which is great. It's like, and with my, I'm an old man now because of my back issues and all this stuff. So with my adjustable bed that I have and the 55-inch TV, it's like I just set myself up perfectly. It's almost like I'm at the movies.
You turn on the Whisper 2000 so you can hear everything.
I don't even need that. But it's all set up. But the 65 in my living room, I'm not kidding you, it takes up about 2/3 of one wall.
I believe it. I absolutely believe it.
Yeah, there's a window behind there that doesn't exist anymore.
The window is no longer there. It's boarded up from the outside.
I no longer have a window. No.
Oh, that's cool. Well, welcome to the world of 4K. But you have a regular PlayStation. You don't have a PS4 Pro, right?
No, I don't have a Pro, so I won't get the 4K.
Not yet. You'll wait. You'll get the itch.
Oh, no, you know why? Because the 5 is coming out.
I was just gonna say
5. So it's like,
well, not this year. Holiday 2020.
Next year.
But
next
yeah,
year.
I said this year. I'm sorry. And it's supposedly, I mean, this has been going back and forth. It's supposed to be guaranteed fully backwards compatible for the PS4. It's still up in the air about 3, 2, and 1, but for now it's backwards for the 4. So we'll see what happens.
Well, you know what? That's really all I need because I never owned a PS3, and
That's true.
I still have my PS2 hooked up for PS1 and 2 games. So I'm all set. What I'm really bummed about, though, since we're talking about PS4, I know we'll get into the analog in a minute. What I'm really bummed about is that PS4 now no longer you can no longer stream onto Facebook. And I just had everything set up and everything. It was removed a week or two ago.
Facebook or YouTube or
no,
Twitch?
Facebook.
I didn't even know you could stream to Facebook.
Yeah, you had the option to stream to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and Spotify. By the way. I found on
I didn't know what it is. Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So you can do all of that, and unfortunately, they removed Facebook. I think last week, which bummed me out because I was going to start streaming to Facebook, especially with all the. I just started buying like all the classic collections and everything like that, but Facebook's losses, unfortunately, will be Twitch and YouTube's gain.
Absolutely.
So, and I did test stream to YouTube a few days ago.
You did Dead by Daylight, yeah.
Yeah, I did some Dead by Daylight just to test it out, and then Dead by Daylight and Infinite Wisdom, they've been having a lot of glitches, so as soon as I got an error in the game, like, it stopped the feed, which stunk.
Error.
So,
error. What are you going to do?
I am error.
Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. No, Legend of Zelda Link's Adventure. Excuse me.
Adventures of Link.
Whatever. I'm tired. This is my second podcast today. I'm very tired.
Let's not talk about tired.
Whatever. What has happened to you
My
recently?
insides are still mashed potatoes.
Oh boy. Well, then we will talk about something then that hopefully you will enjoy. And for you, Ant, I feel like you may get this. I hope you will. Analogue, wonderful company. They've put out, I think they may have been the first one to really put out like an NES clone, like in the vein of where it's just for an NES. And they put out their hardware. They have an NES, a Super Nintendo, and a Genesis. And their claim to fame is that there is zero emulation. It is completely running off the cartridge that you have in the system. Now, and I don't know if you're this way. Me, you know, and when we say emulation, we're not talking about like illegally downloading an emulator. Some of these systems, like the Retron 5 and stuff, you put the cartridge in and it kind of rips the ROM and then it plays it from there. Like it doesn't really play it off the cart. But that doesn't bother me. You know, if it runs on an emulation like that or not, you know, some places are like, oh, well, look, these pixels are 174 by 173, but this is 179 versus 182. I'm like, I don't care. You know, as long as the game runs. And Analogue, a lot of people praise them for doing that no emulation, running completely off the cartridge.
Right.
Where with Hyperkin, and I love Hyperkin, don't get me wrong, Hyperkin a little less expensive than Analogue, which is why I actually had the Analogue. I think you remember we talked about this years ago. I had the Analogue Super NES on order. It was like $200 and something.
Yes, I remember
at the time. But and then Hyperkin came out with their Super Nintendo, which was like $80 or something. So I'm like, ooh, all right, well, just price wise, I'm good. And I'm happy with the Hyperkin Super Nintendo. Their NES didn't work out so well. We've talked about it. But Analogue, a friend of mine at work, I think has the Analogue Super Nintendo and the Genesis. And he says they're both fan-freaking-tastic. Okay. So I'm like, okay, awesome. And he's one of these guys, like he modded out his GameCube for like $300 to get an HDMI pixel perfect. So, but what was just announced this week, and he was running by my desk, and I'm like, Pete, where are you going? He's like, the announcement, because he's really into we got to get him on the show one day. He's into retro games. I'm like, cool. I'm like, what announcement? Are we all getting fired? What's going on? He's like, no, Analogue. I was like, ooh, okay, let me know. And then he comes back. I was on the phone, and he like wrote down, because I couldn't talk to him. So he wrote down what the thing was, and then he just like this sheet, like a full legal pad full of stats. And even I may even like on the phone, I'm like, ooh, I did not, just in case anyone's listening. But I did read it later, and basically announced was the Analogue Pocket, which is our, I think it's the first clone handheld system. And this bad boy, even Anthony, I think even you were impressed when you saw some of the stats. What is going on over there?
I have no idea.
It's like a rogue Muppet show.
I basically there's a tail in the screen. She's not done.
Uh-oh.
Anyway,
she coming around?
No, she's not. She's sniffing everything else. Just don't mind the tail if you see it.
It's like a, what is going on?
I have no idea. My cat wants to be on the show. That's all. Here,
control your animals. Now you're talking into its tail. Oh, good lord!
It's just a microphone that moves. What's wrong?
We're on video. Wait till he swings around and scratches you right in the face.
No, she's gone. All right. This is her. This is basically her way of saying she wants dinner.
I was gonna say she's probably hungry.
Yes. But anyway,
so the Analogue Pocket, and I want to hear your thoughts, because you were not, and you've admitted it, you're not a big handheld gamer, but this bad boy looks awesome.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm really impressed with it. I love, again, one of the things that I love about clone systems is when they have multi-system capability. So to me, it's more appealing that way. It's the reason why I bought the Retro Freak in Japan, because I could play 16 cartridge-based systems on it. Granted, it does rip them onto the, it rips them onto the hard drive.
And that's the emulation part, yeah.
And that's the emulation part, but you do have the option to play it off the cartridge if you want to. So that's what I like about that. So So the Analog Pocket, just the fact alone that it's going to offer multiple systems is appealing to me. The biggest issue I'll always run into is the small screen. That's where like I start to lose interest because I'd rather play them on a big screen. That's just me.
We're going to get into that in a moment, but first
Yes.
let's talk about the handheld system itself. It's coming out next year, 2020, no exact date or even month or even quarter, but it's coming out next year. The out of the box, it will play, according to Analog, all 2100 plus Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. Yeah. And that's the system right out of the box. Oh, that absolutely. On top of that, it will play with an adapter sold separately, but it will play Game Gear, Lynx, and Neo Geo Pocket, which is also big time because there was some actually hard to believe, but there were some gems on those systems.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like there are gems on almost every system you can think of. Philips CDI is probably the exception. But but yeah, any system you go to, there are definitely some hidden gems there. Yeah. So and all of those are no exception. I remember on Game Gear, I was particularly fond of the X-Men games that came out on Game Gear.
Yes. Yeah, in fact, when we're done recording, I'm actually going to start cataloging the handheld games I have because Game On's going to be very happy with me over the next calendar year as I'm going to stop buying up some of these. And it actually, this is from the website. It says, and I'm going to quote here, Pocket works with cartridge adapters for other handheld systems too, like Game Gear, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Atari Lynx, and more. Ooh. So we may have other ones. Right. And it says specifically no emulation.
Nice.
And I stand corrected. The over 2,700 Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games it will play. All right, so let's get into the stats here. It's going to have a 3.5-inch screen, 615 pixels per inch, I believe that is, PPI, LCD. Yes. It will have a 1600 by 1440 resolution, which is literally 10 times the resolution of the original Game Boy, which is actually big time because even if you watch now, like if you play like the Contra collection, the Game Boy Operation C on that, or even the Castlevania games, sometimes you'll see a little bit of, it's called shadowing, where the system's not refreshing enough. And I think even these systems, just the way the emulation is, it doesn't refresh it enough. So it looks like a little bit of a shadow behind all the movement. This negates that entire thing.
Oh, nice.
The color is going to be dynamic. Brightness is going to be off the charts. Those Game Boy Color games are probably going to look beautiful on there. So it's also what's cool about and the I don't know. It's not really clear. So I don't know if it's going to be like one adapter for the different handheld systems. Most likely to get, they're a business, so more money in their pocket. It'll probably be different adapters for different systems. No price on that, but that still should be pretty interesting to see what that's going to look like, how that will run. But this system's not only just for playing handheld games. It's also going to have a digital audio workstation. Ooh. So you can make music with it. It's called Nano Loop. It's a synthesizer and a sequencer. I don't know anything about making music, so a lot of people out there know what all that stuff is. So on their website, on the analog.co website, there is a bit of a demo on the music side of it that they have. So definitely go check that out. And then it starts to get a little, inside baseball as far as the meat and potatoes of the machine. It says, and again, I'm quoting from the website, Pocket is designed for FPGA development. We added a second dedicated FPGA just for developers to develop and port their own cores. Now, I don't know if that means then someone can not necessarily mod it, but create something where then you can play 1,500 games on it, of NES games, Super NES games. It does specifically say you cannot play emulated games. Now, of course, that could also just be legality of it. Here it goes. It does not play ROM files. It plays legacy game cartridges via the cartridge slot. Again, it's probably just them covering their butts, which is fine. Right. We've talked about all that. Um,
Well, every
let me get
major like the major consoles like Sony PlayStation, Dreamcast, Xbox, the original Xbox. I mean, they weren't able to do that either, but people found a way to mod them.
of
It
course.
happened.
I'm going to go a little bit more into the stats here. It's a rechargeable battery, which is excellent. Button
Nice.
mapping, which is probably going to be good for the other systems.
Good.
Stereo speakers, micro SD card, USB-C charging, 3.5 millimeter headphone output for those with an iPhone. That's actually original headphone jacks.
Yep.
Original style link plug, which is really cool. So you can play 2-player Game Boy games with someone who has an OG Game Boy.
Nice.
Now, and a
Go ahead,
rechargeable battery. That's no. First it says rechargeable lithium-ion battery, then it says rechargeable battery. So I don't know what that's.
Okay. I was very curious about the micro SD card, because if it's cartridge based only, what's the micro SD card for?
Well, the micro SD card could be for the music.
Could be for the music. Could be for
when you
save
play the
states.
music. Possibly for save states. And again, like it said, where to go? Those FPGA development, so you can code your own stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there may be some homebrews that are made from this thing.
That could be fun.
Absolutely. Now, Ant, you say that you are not crazy about the small screen, which is understandable. I get that point. So don't worry, because there is a fancy-looking analog dock that will be coming out with it as well.
Okay, now you got my interest.
Also, price TBD, but you can play on the big screen, which I think is really cool. The analog dock will have an HDMI output,
nice.
two USB inputs for wired controllers, Bluetooth for wireless controllers, and DAC compatible. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't know what DAC is. But they are also, they say specifically you can sync up any wireless 8-bit do Bluetooth, which is a company, 8-bit do. They put out some actually really good controllers. So I'm sure they're working with them to seamlessly sync that.
Sounds like.
Yeah. So, and I kind of like the TV dock is very modern looking. It's just basically a podium, a little round, almost like a fat Sharpie on its side, and then I guess you just put the system down, just dock it vertical, and that's it. It's weird. It's very minimalist. That's what I was trying to say.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah, so this thing looks really cool. Looks like it'll be in 2 colors, white and black. They may have some other ones. Limited quantities will be available, so feel free to sign up at analog.co. Throw your email address in there, and you'll get an email when it becomes available. And again, your thoughts now, especially now with this thing being able to be played on TV.
Well, see, that changes it for me, because again, I need to see it on a bigger screen. I mean, granted, I always like the portability of it. I mean, Nintendo Switch is kind of getting me into portability now. I'm like, but yeah, I mean, usually with the smaller screens like that, I always have a tough time. It's just a preference thing. It's not a bad eyesight thing. It's not the games aren't good. All that stuff is different. But being able to dock it in on your TV definitely has me. My interest is now piqued.
Yes, no, I think that's gonna be really cool. I'm assuming it's probably gonna be like the dock will probably be like $100 maybe if the system's 200. So we'll see. What is this dock? Oh, digital analog converter. That's what it is. That's interesting. Oh,
okay.
Ooh, look into that for other stuff. So yeah, so that's the Analogue Pocket. Definitely check it out. Check out all the other items from Analogue. They got their systems are nice and kind of cute and small and work apparently tremendously. And if the Polymega doesn't show up anytime soon, I may be ordering some of these. So we'll see.
Larry, you're just gonna order everything.
I do. These things look cool. They really do. Dang it, especially the Nintendo one, which is so expensive. All right, so that is Analogue. So yeah, be on the lookout for that.
Nice.
Yes. And I think you got some stuff as well about the old intranet there.
Yeah, the internet. Yeah, this was something I definitely wanted to bring up, and we posted it on our Facebook page. I actually got a couple of friends sent this article over to me on the same day. So shout out to Charlie and my other friend Max for cluing me in on this. But the Internet Archive, if you don't know what the Internet Archive is, the Internet Archive actually archives old video games. They're free to play, available on their website. Just do a search for Internet Archive. But it was announced last week that 2,500 MS-DOS games from like the 80s and 90s were added to the Internet Archive. So now there are over 6,500 free games you can play
oh, man.
at the Internet Archive online, which is just
amazing.
There you go. And if you're like us, and if you remember some of these old school games that you used to play on, on a Commodore 64 or on an Apple II, or even on your early Windows-based systems, back when Windows 3.1 was the thing. Remember that?
Oh, what? I think I do.
Pre-Windows 95. Windows 3.1. But anyway, and it's not just they're not just like little games of like solitaire and stuff like that. Granted, there are a bunch of them that are like that. But we're talking about like actual like games. And I'll give you I'm just going to run through a few of the ones that were posted. They were actually loaded up, I think, on October 8th. But the article just came out. So, for example, if you remember the game show, the $100,000 Pyramid, that is available to play. I loved that. Absolutely loved that.
That thing was awesome.
It was a great game, or a great game show, and a great game to play if you wanted to play it yourself. Another one, The Need for Speed, available, free to play. And this is the whole thing. It's like the whole idea behind this. And I'm looking at my other screen just to give you guys a list. These are all free to play, which is awesome. The Amazing Spider-Man and Captain America in Doctor Doom's Revenge. So they have they have old licensed games up here, which is really really cool. Stuff like The Bard's Tale, a lot of kids games, like Fisher Price games, Bible Adventures. I remember Bible Adventures.
Bible Adventures.
There's a Super Mario knockoff called Super Angelo that you can play.
Really?
Yeah. There's a game up here that I used to own, and I'm definitely gonna check it out after we're done recording, just for 5 minutes for fun. Casino Tournament of Champions, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's just an old casino game. They got simple games like like checkers. You can play a game called the Civil War and choose your side.
No. Okay. Choose right.
Another one up on here that you'll be happy to know. Night Trap.
Night Trap.
Good. Is available on here. Yeah, right, exactly. Elder Scrolls, the Daggerfall is here. If you're a fan of the Elder Scrolls series, that's really cool. That's interesting. Let's see. What else do I remember on this list? It's really just a whole, but I'm assuming this is a knockoff of Pac-Man. It is. It's called Gobble Man. It has ghosts. Puck-Man. It has ghosts and everything.
I hope so.
But again, definitely worth checking it out. Again, 2,500 free games is nothing to scoff at. I mean, even if you only find like a handful of games on here that you want to try out, still it's kind of fun. There's Night Trap just flying by me. Movie trivia. I would love to find out the movie trivia from back then.
What year could that be from?
Exactly. So we got Paladin, Pearl Harbor. Marvel's The Punisher, MS-DOS game. I think that was,
okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think that was put out on the app. I want to say it was the Apple that it was out on.
I'm curious how they're able to put these out. I'm not saying they're illegal. It's just, I mean, obviously they're doing something. So,
The Secret of Monkey Island is available.
That's classic. I think they just remade it or something, or remaking it.
Yeah, I think they are. But just I mean, it's just definitely worth checking out. I do. I definitely want to try Super Angelo. Tetris, The Three Stooges. Three Stooges. How about this? Tony and Friends in Kellogg's Land. Tony the Tiger from Frosted Flakes had a game.
I hope the game's great.
I knew that was coming. Let's see. Wipeout. I don't know if you remember the racing game Wipeout. That's available.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's an old racing game. But anyway, 2,500.
Where can you find this?
You can find this at the Internet Archive, which is basically looks like it's archive.org.
That's simple enough.
Archive.org is the Internet Archive, and right at the top they've got the Internet Archive isn't just video games. They got books, video, audio, all kinds of stuff up there.
I mean, you call yourself the Internet Archive, you better have the Internet archived.
Yeah, but if you go to the software button, and they have it right there. Old school emulation, MS-DOS games, historical software, classic PC games, software library. So just all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
It's definitely worth checking out again. And and outside of the 2,500 they added, there are 4,000 other games up there that you can look at as well. I'm curious about
something.
Yeah, you can. I guarantee you, anybody who wants to play a game will be able to find something without issue. I'm curious about the book section though. Like
nerd.
Hey, I mean, look, free books to read. Can't complain about that. Actually, audiobooks would be nice for me because my car to work takes forever.
I like a good audio, except for when I got like a free trial to like whatever, one of those audio books. So I'm like, all right, I'll get Ready Player One. That'd be cool. I love that book.
Yeah.
The movie was
great book.
Yeah. Guess who reads it?
Who?
Will Wheaton.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you have against Will Wheaton?
My nemesis.
No, he's Sheldon's nemesis from the Big Bang Theory.
He's mine when I met him at Wizard World.
That's right. That's right. I still think
stupid Will Wheaton.
I still think that's awesome.
Him and Shat.
You are Sheldon. And then I'm just flipping through the Internet Archive also just to throw out other games that are there. E.T. the Extraterrestrial from Atari. Ooh. The really awful Pac-Man game from Atari. The Hobbit adventure game from old school PC.
I don't remember that. It's weird. You forget that the Hobbit's been around a long time before the movies. So
Pitfall, Karateka, Castle Wolfenstein is available. Adventure, Donkey Kong, Lode Runner, Yar's Revenge. What else do we have here? Berserk.
Let's name all 4,000.
Let's name all four. We're just going to name them all. But again, you can just flip through here. There's just a ton here. Check it out. Check out the Internet Archive at archive.org. Just look through the software and see what you can find. And speaking of, really quickly, I just want to throw this out. I was going through. I was cleaning out my own personal archive folder because my hard drive that I was using to back up all of my data crashed. Mm-hmm. So I got a program to save the data. I didn't save all of it, but I saved most of it. And I transferred it over to a new hard drive so I can go through it and clean it up. Because I'm not kidding you, I backed up my data going all the way back to like my first computer in 1995 or 96.
Good Lord.
So I'm going through this and I'm
thank God. I was gonna say thank God some of my stuff from then is gone.
Yeah, tell me about it. But I was just going through all the stuff in there and I'm like, I forgot when I used to download all the wrestling theme songs and I would use them to boot up my computer. Like they would play. So I found a whole folder. I found a whole folder full of those. But I'm going through all these things, and you know what I found in there? Do you remember? Do you remember what?
No, I said, what did you find?
Do you remember Rampage Wrestling?
Oh my God! Yeah, that thing was. We played that ad nauseum.
Yeah. So Rampage Wrestling was a text-based wrestling game. That rocked. I know. I ordered it online for like $40. It was like, I think it was like 2 or 3 discs that it came in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you would just play all kinds of singles matches, battle royals, Survivor Series, all kinds of stuff. And then there was another game I owned. Do you remember?
I remember the other one.
The other one was called TNM.
Yes.
TNM was like this was before wrestling video games allowed you to be like the promoter to run the show. And TNM was that. You basically were the promoter of the show. Yeah. So you would create the rosters, you would set up the shows.
You book the matches,
Book the matches, and then you would watch how the matches unfolded.
In text. In text form. But you're right.
Yeah.
That's actually, it's funny, and the podcast I recorded earlier today was a wrestling podcast, The Ring Crew, which be on the lookout. It'll be part of my Talking More Wrestling page. And, I was talking about how like I kind of just slowly learned about all the independents and started watching the independents. But the original where I started learning about guys from Japan, guys from the NWA was through those games because the characters were in them. I'm like, who are these people?
Yep.
And I would just look them up and learn about them.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, I just
Were you
thought that
able
was
to
a little
play?
something to throw out there. Yeah,
Did you
they're
try?
still playable.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
can
man.
still play them.
I am slightly excited. We are going to have to talk later about that.
Yes, we will.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think we'll take a
But
moment here.
we'll take a
Yeah.
moment here. Meantime, if anybody wants to share their thoughts on the Analog Pocket that Larry talked about, or just look it up, let us know what you think. We're curious because we're both very interested in it. And if you check out the Internet Archive, let us know what gems you pull out from there that you used to play when you were a kid, or something new that you find there that's just really awesome. I know I'm going to be going through it, specifically looking for old game show games I used to play. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, let us know what you think, and we will be right back to talk about our next topic. All right, Larry, it is time for this week's retro birthday. And,
hey, happy birthday, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And I've got a couple of big ones for us too, which is great.
Oh, great. So let's see how old we feel. Jeez.
Ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. So the first retro birthday is a game that came out on the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1988. So it is celebrating its 31st birthday, and I might also point out, it came out in 1988 in Japan. I believe it came out in the U.S. maybe about a year later.
Okay.
31 years ago, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh.
That game is 31 years old. 31 Japan years old today.
Yeah. So about 30. So which means the Wizard's got to be about 30 years old as well.
The Wizard, I think, came out in 1988 or 89. So we're talking 31 or 32 years old. Yeah.
Because Jimmy Woods, and how she knew where the whistle was in a brand new game no one knew about. I'm just saying, plot hole.
Okay, so the movie was literally made to sell the video game. So
absolutely.
So it did not matter.
Just like Masters of the Universe. All right, cool. 31 years.
So 31 years ago today.
Yeah.
Or this week, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. The other one, which is a bigger deal, okay, is celebrating its 34th birthday here in North America. We are talking about, and its retro birthday was last week. We did not cover it, but we have to bring it up this week because, we've been talking about this specific company for the last few weeks. The Nintendo Entertainment System, October 18th, 1985.
The system itself.
The system itself, the console came out 34 years ago.
Look at that. And it's getting its resurgence the last couple of years. Very good.
Now, the funny thing about it is the Famicom is actually 2 years older than the NES.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. But yeah, so 34 years ago, we got the NES. And Larry, since you were not here for the top 10 last week that Anthony Chu and I talked about, I'm going to put you on the spot. Favorite NES game of all time? Hit
Contra.
It. Yeah.
Right out of the bat. Contra. Yep. First game I ever beat. So.
That's fair. And I'm sorry it didn't make my list. I know you heard about that.
I'm devastated, actually.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean,
but all right,
known me.
Yeah, very true. But it's arguably, it's one of the best games on the system, so it's fine. But so that is what we're celebrating this week. Super Mario Brothers 3 turns 31 years old. The Nintendo Entertainment System turns 34, and that is this week's retro birthdays.
All right, so we're going to start to wrap things up here, but before we do that, I got a couple new things to show off real quick. Nothing major,
all right,
but a couple new things. So first of all, I did go to Game On.
Okay.
So and I did not drop a lot of money. So shocking. Yeah, I know. As we mentioned earlier, the Analogue Pocket is coming out, which will be able to play other handheld game systems. And I literally, when we're done recording, I got here we go. Yeah, I have that game. Good thing I didn't buy it. I got some Game Gear games with a non-working Game Gear, so I'm going to check that out. But I started buying Lynx games. I never had an Atari Lynx. So my first ever Lynx game is, you saw it for a second, Rampage.
Very good choice.
And this one has you can play as all three, including, what was the rat's name? No, all four, excuse me. What was the rat's name? Rizzo or something?
No, Rizzo is the Muppet.
Oh, that's true. Oh, wait a minute. No, I think they replaced the wolf, Ralph, with the rat. I gotta look into that.
Oh, well, you'll find out when you get the Analog Pocket.
Well, I checked it. You know what I did? They have a few Links games, so I just like went onto YouTube and just saw some gameplay. But this
That
rampage looks
works.
really cool.
All right, very cool.
So yeah, got that there. Oh, fun. Cheap plug for them because I absolutely adore them. Playable Characters podcast. They're one of their recent episodes. They interviewed a couple who lives in the apartment buildings in Rampage.
Nice.
Hysterical. Then I picked this up because I've never seen anything like it, and I think it plays on the Atari. I'm going to assume Atari, so whatever. But anyway, it's 2 games in one.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
And here's the other.
What was it? Ghost Manor.
Ghost Manor and Spike's Peak. There's one.
Oh, interesting.
And you flip it over.
And there's Ghost Manor.
Yeah, and I want to say it's Atari, and the company is Exon, Xonox. So that in itself, will let you when you flip it around and stuff.
Okay.
So just for this is pure novelty.
I mean, I can honestly say I've never seen a cartridge like that.
Supposedly there's a few of these type of cartridges out, but this is the only one I've ever seen.
All right,
so
cool. Well,
very cool on that.
Nice find.
Oh, it's a 2600 game. Okay, it's Atari 2600.
Awesome. Perfect.
So those two were my throwbacks. Then I got a recent one. Now, for those of you watching on YouTube, I think you can tell I'm not really one for the gym. You may be able to see, it's no mystery here. And I will admit, the last time I was serious about losing weight and getting in shape or just living longer, I used the Wii Fit. And that was probably the last time I actually got people say, "Oh, you look like you're losing weight." I haven't heard that in a very long time. So I decided to let me back up here. Let me pull this back. I decided to get the Ring Fit Adventure.
Oh, boy.
And I know for some people, sometimes I cut myself out. So let me do this. There we go.
There. Okay.
And, I'm looking forward to it.
You're going to have to give us a full review of it.
Mm-hmm. I will. I haven't played the game yet. I'm going to be 100% honest with you, but I do want to show you the peripherals. And when you open it, it says, "Have fun while being active." So that's a double entendre. Okay. So it comes with first a leg strap. It's very simple. You put the Joy-Con in a leg strap.
Okay.
Very, very simple. You wrap it around your leg and you put it on your thigh. That's for the lower body.
Cut off some circulation. Yeah.
Just about, because this is a big thigh. But here's what they call the Ring Con.
It's a steering wheel.
You know what? You're right. I probably could use this for Mario Kart.
You might be able to, yeah.
So they are all the way over there. I can't get it. You know what? Give me 2 seconds.
All right, we'll give Larry 2 seconds while he goes to grab something over on the other side of the screen. I have no idea what he's looking for, but you can see in the background his very impressive game collection. Now that he's not sitting there, everything from Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis. Got some stuff from Japan. I see that I brought him. What are you pointing at, Larry? Larry's pointing. Voltron. Very nice. Nicely done.
I almost broke it.
All right. Well, yeah, don't break things. That's just not cool. Do not break the nerd collection.
All right. Such a professional podcast. Okay, so
yes.
So this is the Ring Fit, the Ring Con. You have just soft grips here on each side.
Yep.
And the idea of the game is it's an adventure game. You run in place. That's how you move your character. And this thing stretches, you can pull it, you can push it. That's how you interact. Like if you want to fire at something, boom, boom, boom.
Got it.
There is definitely some resistance. I'm not saying it's like,
right.
But there is some good resistance on this. And what you do is you pop, here it is. You pop the Joy-Con right up here, just like that. And so, I mean, it faces the other way, but that's what it basically looks like. That's the top of it.
Uh-huh.
So I gotta say, just the way it feels, and there's some abs. You do some stuff with the abs.
Mm-hmm.
There's yoga moves you got to do, and supposedly each villain in the game or each bad guy will more damage will be taken if you do either a yoga or like a core or an arm exercise.
Okay.
So I think it's pretty cool. We talked about it before. The Wii Fit actually, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, the Wii Fit worked. When you were dedicated to it. Called you fat in the beginning, but it worked eventually. As you can tell, I'm already out of breath. I walked 2 feet over to get that Joy-Con. I desperately need to do this.
All right. Well, Larry, after you
part of the show.
Yes, I know. And after you do it, just like I said, just give us a review. Let us know what you think. But I have a question since you're talking about fitness and video games and everything like that. Have you tried Beat Saber yet?
Before I answer that question, there was something else which I got to look into. Apparently, you can still use the Ring-Con for exercises when the game is off, and it still records it. I got to figure out how that works.
That's it. Well, I guess it's when you have your Switch is in sleep mode, it's still on. So I guess it can still register.
And also with the IR connector on the bottom of the Joy-Con, you take your pulse.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So a lot of cool stuff. I'm gonna boot it up probably tomorrow, if I can, because people coming over. But yeah, so that's beautiful. Beat Saber, not yet, only because I literally just rehooked up my PSVR. Okay. So I got it back up and running. Yeah. I do have every plan of trying Beat Saber. Yeah. I think that will kill me. So
yes, that will kill you. That will kill you. That is a workout. There's no question about it.
This will give me a minor coronary infraction, I think they call it, where Beat Saber will put me 6 feet under, and they'll find me here 2 months later.
Well, that's why with Beat Saber, you got to go through the I forget what they call it, like the single player training, where it's different, where it's stages, because basically it teaches you how to play the game well. No, but it because it survive. Yeah, no, because basically, like, I remember because when I first played the game, like, easy was fine, medium was okay, hard was impossible, and then above hard is expert, and above expert is expert plus. and
above that is Tybo class.
Yes, exactly. Billy Blanks shows up on your screen.
How many times do you accidentally, of course, without malice, hit your cats?
None.
None. Okay, good. So there's not a lot of work happening.
How many times have I hit the wall? How many times have I hit the chair, the recliner that the cat was sleeping on? Different story. Totally different story. But I will say this. It is definitely the equivalent of a cardio workout. I can do that. I'll do that anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes, and I am soaked.
Okay.
So it's but again, I've worked my way to expert plus, so I am doing the hardest level you can do.
I'm drenching sweat right now just walking the 2 feet.
So then you know what? Medium will be perfect.
Beginner for a few months. No, I do have intentions to do that. But I definitely want to try this thing, this Ring Fit adventure. After watching that creepy video of them introducing the game, you saw that, right?
Yeah, that was weird. That was just weird.
So, all right, so that's my purchases.
Good luck with the Ring Fit.
I'm not here next. You know why?
Yeah, exactly. We'll be having a funeral. But I'm trying to think. I picked up at least one game over the last week, I believe.
Hold on, I just want to mention one thing real quick. It's completely unrelated. Did you hear about that funeral over in Ireland recently?
Yes, where they played the
guy asked to put like a recording like in the coffin, I think.
Well, yeah, no, it wasn't in the coffin, but they just had it playing. They had it playing at the cemetery while they were lowering the coffin in, and it was basically him screaming that he was, to let him out of the coffin. And, it was really funny.
It was really awesome.
Yeah, that's a guy who had a sense of humor, and you know what? I mean, that's it's a great way to end things.
Absolutely, I'm sure there were people there who weren't too happy, but what does he care? He don't.
No, I saw the video. They were laughing.
It's Ireland. They don't care.
Yeah, I was just like they were fine. They were fine. So last week I picked up again because PlayStation 4 is having a sale. They're doing a special Halloween sale.
Nice. Yeah, they usually do that around this time. Okay.
Yeah, around this time. And let me tell you, they've been doing a lot of these things where they do like week-long sales and things like that. But they've been there's a new sale up, and I picked up Mortal Kombat XL, not 11, because 11 was
Oh,
the
okay,
new one. I picked up
yeah.
10.
Okay.
And I haven't played a Mortal Kombat in a long time, so I was like,
Mhm.
ooh, I was like XL, which is it's everything, because like
Yeah.
10 came out, and then XL is like the whole with all the DLC and
All
stuff
the
like that.
DLC and everything. Yeah.
Yep,
A lot of good
six
characters too.
$6.
Oh my God, really?
$6.
That's insane.
For the whole
Okay.
thing.
Well, that's a purchase.
Yep, picked it up, and to be honest with you, I've been playing it like crazy. The story mode in it, I didn't realize how, and I don't know if 9 had it. I'm pretty sure they did, because I think somewhere around the PS2, like with Deception and Deadly Alliance, they started
Like
doing like more story
mythology.
based. No,
Okay.
not mythologies, but
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
they started doing actual stories. Like,
Hmm.
but so I was playing XL, and a couple of my friends bought it too. So we've been fighting each other online. But the
Okay.
story mode in the game, it plays out like a movie, literally like a movie. So like you're watching chapters, and then in the chapters, then you take control of a character, and then you do the fights, and then when you win, the story continues. But I swear,
Okay.
it's basically like sitting there and watching a 3-hour movie. It's about three
That
hours
sounds.
with gameplay. But
Oh wow.
yeah, I was really surprised. It was really well done. It's definitely better than Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Um,
A lot of things are.
yeah, a lot of things are. But plays really well. And then, of course, obviously, your standard Mortal Kombat fighting and stuff like that. The
Yeah.
fatalities are beautiful. The brutalities are great. There's a thing in there called X-rays, where it's like
Oh yes, yes.
the combo move. I'm sure other people know this, and they're like, God, you're just catching up on this. But no,
Wait,
but you
wait,
know
wait,
what?
wait. Samus was a woman?
What? I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. What?
I love you, Joe. I really do.
Um,
Yes, no, the X-ray
yes,
thing. Yeah, it's
yes.
crazy.
So for $6, Mortal Kombat XL, definitely worth your money.
Does
Yeah.
that's the one that has like Freddy, Jason, Alien as playable
It
characters?
doesn't have Freddy. It has
Oh,
it has Jason,
okay.
Alien, Leatherface, and Predator.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, a
All right.
very good group.
Cool.
So for $6, I highly recommend it if you haven't played it. It's a lot of fun. I haven't gone through the rest of the games that are on sale yet. I'm going to be doing that this week, and I'm sure, but next week I'll have another list of games that I purchased.
By this week, do you mean as soon as we're done recording?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I got to test out my soundbar, and I can only do that with new games.
Absolutely. Duh. That makes total sense to me. Quick.
Yeah.
Oh no, go on. I'm sorry. Go on.
No, go.
Oh no. It just came out on the Switch and probably I think just use it for Nintendo. The Versus series that's been coming out, Versus Super Mario Brothers, Versus Gradius. They just came out with Versus Castlevania.
I have no idea how that works.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the different. Like Versus Super Mario Brothers had some gameplay difference. Had some would have Koopas where a Goomba would be, and some of the levels were slightly different. Same with some of the other games. But this Versus Castlevania, I'm trying to figure out because so far it looks the exact same. Actually, graphics wise, the color palette to me actually looks better on the NES than on this what's supposed to be a arcade. And when I'm not talking Haunted Castle. It's called Versus Castlevania.
Okay.
I'm reaching out to the listeners. I'm just curious what the difference is. Because I kind of want to get it because I got to imagine it's got to be something different. But I just haven't pinpointed it yet. But it's $8. Part of the Hamster puts out these arcade archives. Some games are on sale right now. Normally they're $8. They're actually on sale for $4.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm looking through, see if I can pick up some stuff. But now's a good, and we're only like a month away too from the biggest sale of the year with Black Friday.
The Black Friday sale,
Cyber Monday. So that's where a lot of stuff is going to get picked up. That's like a whole special into itself.
Yeah, I know. That's when we come in. Hey, look at the 50 games we each bought that we'll never play.
How much was it? $19. Yeah,
$19. How many of them will you play? One.
You know what I did though? I did recently on the Switch. You can, when you go onto the Switch eShop, you can sort by price, and there's a whole free section. And I downloaded a bunch of games for free. I'm not talking demos; these are full games. And obviously, if it's going to be free, it's going to be a bit simplistic. But those games are fun. That and a bunch of games on sale for like a dime, literally 10 cents, 9 cents. And I had enough.
We talked about Membrane a couple weeks ago.
Yes. And I had some gold coins, from the games that I've bought before, because I pre-ordered Luigi's Mansion 3, which for the first time in a long time, they're offering bonus gold coins if you pre-order it digitally.
Okay.
I'll get those bonus when the game comes out. But yeah, so I bought like a handful of games, like dollar games. I can't remember any of the names because they're really nothing that major, but I played some of them. They're very simplistic, very fun. So definitely check that section out on the eShop. A lot of good free games out there.
All right. Yeah. Very. I haven't checked that out yet, so I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Just a couple other games I wanted to bring up that I've been playing, not necessarily ones that I purchased, but just little recommendations. I think I brought it up before, but Hollow Knight I've been playing on my Nintendo Switch.
Everyone's talking about Hollow Knight. I got to
play Hollow
Knight.
Let me tell. It's available on all three platforms. I cannot speak highly enough of this game. It is amazing. I had no idea. I started playing it, I think, on my first trip to China in July. Fast forward to today, and I've clocked like 54 hours in this game.
Nice.
It's so amazing. I really can't talk about it enough. Let's see what else. I am 65% done with Spider-Man on PS4. Cannot wait to finish that. It's fantastic.
Okay, nice.
Absolutely excellent. And then I am just counting down to WWE 2K20 next week.
Yeah, that should be cool. I'm hearing a lot of good things about it. The graphics look awesome. The gameplay looks awesome. I hear the writing's kind of crappy, but whatever.
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
No, I heard.
Maybe they need to get better writers.
I know they got the best writers out there. Trust me.
But apparently the controls have been changed.
Okay.
So for the first time in a long time, yet we're actually going to have to relearn the controls for the game.
You know what's weird about the WWE 2K, and we're both huge wrestling fans, and I think I can speak for both of us. You know, we buy the 2K series, but I don't really play it as much anymore.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to harken back to, No Mercy or WrestleMania 2000, which basically the only other time those got mimicked were Day of Reckoning and Day of Reckoning 2 on GameCube. That's how long ago. And now I'm looking forward to next year when that Retromania comes out.
Yes.
That
the
spiritual successor. Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually they just announced Johnny Nitro, John Morrison, Johnny Impact, whatever you want to call him. He's going to be in it. And I think another Fed is going to show because House of Hardcore is in it. I think they're going to announce another federation soon. And it was also just announced that game's going to be available on the PS4 as well. So it's going to be on Steam.
Nice.
Steam, Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation. Yeah, that thing looks really, really cool. But it's just weird. Like the 2K series, I haven't gotten into.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I just started playing 2K19. I want to say like 3 weeks ago. I just turned it on and I was like, I never even touched it. Let me at least try it.
Let me at least use it.
And you know what though? I was having a lot of fun in it. Like the Royal Rumble mode that they have now. It's really fun. There are a lot of different ways you can throw somebody out. They have like mini games now when you get them into position to throw them out and stuff. Yeah, like they definitely made it more fun. And for me, what always appeals to me is not just the today's wrestlers, but the older the legends that are in the game. Because I always have fun with that. And on 2K19, what I thought was really cool was I managed to put together 4 out of the 5 in Survivor Series mode. You can do 4-on-4, not 5-on-5.
Oh, sweet.
But they had 4 of the members of the very first Survivor Series team in 1987 with Randy Savage, Jake the Snake Roberts, Ricky Steamboat, and Brutus Beefcake, I believe. So it had all 4 of them. Now, their opponents, they didn't have all of the teammates on. But it was just really cool to put that together and be like, oh, this is awesome. And then on top of it, they have whatchamacallit. It's like commissioner mode or whatever it is, where you go through the shows every week. Yeah. And then you fight at the pay-per-view. Well, you can create your own show if you want to. So like I created Saturday night's main event with the old logo.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then I put all the legend wrestlers on that show, and then I went online because you can download other people's created wrestlers. Yeah, just downloaded a whole bunch of old '80s wrestlers and threw them on that show. So I had a whole roster there, and that was really I have more fun doing that than playing with today's wrestlers because I get it. It's nostalgia for me.
Well, it harkens back to what we talked about earlier: Rampage, wrestling, and TMN.
Exactly. So 2K20 comes out next week. I'm actually really excited. I pre-ordered it. Cool. So I will get it. It will arrive on Tuesday. when our episode drops. So I'll have I know it'll be a current game, but we'll talk about it next episode.
I know we keep saying that it's a current game, we're talking about current stuff. I know we're the retro gamers, but again, we're gamers, so I think they know,
Yeah, totally understand it.
Exactly. Cool. All right, cool. Anything else on your end?
That's it for me right now.
I'm done as well. So I guess we will bring this bad boy into port. I will say this, actually, it's nothing major, but I really didn't clue Anthony into that I was doing. I was just bored last night, so I figured let me just do this. I've kicked back up our Twitter page. Ooh. So yeah, I did. It's retro Gamers Pod. We can't get it to say podcast because it's just too long of a handle. But check us out on Twitter, Retro Gamers Pod. I'm going to be doing some as soon as I can remember what the password is because it's pre-saved. So as soon as I remember the password, I'll give it to you. So when you want to tweet,
sure, I tweet all the
time. But so I figure we'll put some stuff on there. The Instagram stuff will go over there. Yeah. You can check us out on Instagram at Retro Gamers Podcast. We've been putting up a lot of stuff as well from those. The Facebook page as well, Retro Gamers Podcast, and the YouTube page where some of you are watching right now. Which, if you are and you haven't subscribed, you move your mouse or hit on your screen there the subscribe button, please.
Yep, and to everybody who have subscribed to us, thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah, I think we're almost. Trust me, I know it's a small number of people, but for us, it's just cool to see. I think we're almost at 100.
Yeah, we're closing it. We're closing in on 100. And again, this is all organic reach. We're not doing any type of marketing or advertising or anything like that.
It's all word of mouth.
Yeah. There are actually people out there that like us. It's weird.
You like me. You really like me.
Well, let's not go that far.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Where are we at? No, you know what? No.
Oh yeah, you can check us out on Facebook at Retro Gamers Podcast. You can find us there. We do a lot of posting on there. You can find us on Twitch now at TRGP. No wait, TRG _ podcast. My mistake.
Yes.
I'm still trying to get that down. And then we don't have like a live stream schedule down yet. We're still kind of doing it randomly. So every once in a while we'll pop on there. So if you subscribe, you can get you can get notices when we are live. Exactly. And if you're available to check it out, you can check it out.
And same thing on the YouTube side of it. You hit the little bell icon. You'll get notified when we're live, when a new episode goes up, when a Flashback Friday goes up, whenever anything goes up. For crying out loud, you know how YouTube works, people. Do it.
I hope so. And now that we've lost subscribers, thank you, Larry. I think we can call it a day.
I'm gonna go pass out on my Ring-Con now.
I'm gonna go deaf listening to my soundbar as I play video games.
All right, and folks, with that, we hopefully will catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.